Another day, another Canelo Alvarez video. Canelo Alvarez has been the talk of boxing for the past week. But a big reason why is because of his very public and roller coaster negotiations with Turki Al-Sheikh last week for him to fight a four-fight deal with the Riyadh season. There was really going to be a three-fight deal. Canelo-Crawford was included for September in Las Vegas at Allegiant Stadium. The biggest fight in boxing, and perhaps the biggest fight in boxing we've seen in the last decade. Really exciting stuff. But then there were rumors about him fighting Jake Paul in May, that deal falling apart. And then at the last minute, that Jake Paul fight's not happening. And now Canelo's fighting in May in Riyadh. And now we have new news, a part of this whole ordeal, is that Canelo Alvarez will be fighting William Scull in May for Riyadh. That's really interesting stuff here because this gives Canelo Alvarez the opportunity to become a two-time undisputed champion at super middleweight. And that is going to make Canelo-Crawford only bigger because this gives Canelo and Crawford the opportunity to be a historic fight beyond just them being two big names. This gives Terence Crawford the opportunity to be a three-division undisputed champion. He would be the first boxer in history to accomplish that, especially in the four-belt era. And that would really showcase that Terence Crawford is one of the greatest boxers of all time and the king of this generation. Whoever wins this fight will be remembered as the king of this generation in September. But Canelo and William Scull makes this fight bigger for Canelo Crawford in September. Now, who is William Scull? Not many people know who he is. He's not a particularly exciting fighter. He doesn't really have a particularly good resume. He did become IBF champion against Vladimir Shishkin in Germany at the end of 2024. So-so performance. He looked really average, honestly. Shishkin, I thought he won that fight personally. I did just rewatch it. Nothing particularly stands out with William Scull. Box off the back foot the entire night. Good luck doing that against Canelo Alvarez. Quick jab. Nothing really special though. Didn't really have good legs. I thought as the fight went on, his legs were wobbly, particularly in that 12th round. Was hurt a few times by Shishkin. Optics didn't look good in that fight. If you look at the highlights, it looks like Shishkin won the fight. It was a close fight, but it's just was kind of a weird fight. Not a great performance from William Scull. Good luck doing that against Canelo Alvarez. When Canelo hits this guy to the body, he is going to drop, and he's going to be dropped early, and he's not going to last the full 12 rounds, I don't think. And it's going to be good for Canelo to get another knockout win heading into September. He hasn't had a knockout since 2021 against Caleb Plant. Yeah, the power's still there. He's knocked guys down. John Ryder was knocked down. Jermell Charlo was knocked down. Munguia was. Berlanga was. But, it just hasn't really been a lot of finishes for Canelo lately. And that's kind of odd, considering how much of a finisher he is and how much of a killer he is when he does hurt someone. We saw that on that rise to that super middleweight championship. Billy Joe Saunders, Caleb Plant. Those were some ruthless finishes. So Canelo Alvarez is a dangerous fighter still, but he just hasn't had that killer instinct, it seems, in a little bit of time. And, William Scull, if he gets that knockout in there, that's going to be exciting. We're going to be talking about Canelo Alvarez being a two-time super middleweight champion leading up to that fight in September. And it just makes that fight bigger. And, Jake Paul and Canelo Alvarez in May wouldn't have done that. It would have overshadowed Canelo Crawford, and it would have taken attention away from it, would have made more money than it, unfortunately. And, it would have been not great for boxing because, look, Jake Paul should be fighting guys who are retired or doing these gimmick fights. That's frankly what he's best at. He shouldn't be fighting Canelo Alvarez, especially Canelo Alvarez in his prime. But William Scull is, even though he's not this big name fighter, this exciting fighter, I don't know how good of a fighter William Scull really is. I've seen him fight once. I wasn't overly impressed. he is still a champion in super middleweight division. He holds a belt, and this is still a competition for Canelo, and this gives Canelo an opportunity to add another champion to his resume. He is third all time in most champions beaten, behind Floyd Mayweather and Manny Pacquiao. He's going to close on that a little bit with a win if he wins. It's an if. This isn't a predictable sport. But I do think Canelo Alvarez will not have a difficult time with William Scull, and this is just gonna help. This is a tune-up fight. This is gonna help his legacy, and this is only gonna make Canelo-Crawford bigger. And it's good for business. This fight. It's not an exciting fight, but it's good for the business of boxing, and that's why we're getting it, and that's probably why Turki pushed it because he said, "Fight William Scull. This makes our fight in September bigger." Canelo was talking about, fighting Jamal Charlo, the brother of Jermell Charlo, former champion at 160. But the Charlo brothers have kind of lost favor with a lot of people by being inactive. And then Jermell Charlo's really poor performance against Canelo Alvarez in their fight a couple of years ago, where he was just in it for the paycheck and to survive. That's what everyone was saying. I don't know Jermell Charlo. I'm not going to criticize a fighter. You got to be pretty brave to step in there. But it wasn't a good performance. I'm not going to criticize his effort, though. I'm sure he was trying to win, but he clearly didn't want to get knocked out either, which is understandable. But will William Scull be more of the same? It looked like he was kind of holding on to Shishkin in those later rounds. It looked like he survived that fight more than won that fight, and that's good luck because Canelo Alvarez is not Vladimir Shishkin. He's better, he's stronger, he's more powerful. He's pound for pound top 10 fighter. I have him in my top 5. He's been that for the last decade anyway. Canelo Alvarez is one of the best in the world. So good luck to William Scull in May because that's not going to be an easy night for him. I think it's going to be a very short night for him as well. But that is the kind of the latest news here on Canelo Alvarez. Maybe I'm done with Canelo Alvarez videos for a little while now. A lot of news about him recently, but he's the king of boxing, so that's why that's the case. And the face of boxing, anything that he does, you got to report on. And know what you think of Canelo Alvarez and William Scull in the comments below, and whether you think this is a fight Canelo should take, how you feel about this fight, and be sure to follow the Interim Title Show on Instagram. Please like and subscribe, and thank you again for watching.